What's going on, folks? It's Alex. How you all doing? So I'm currently working on a tutorial all about the dialogue leveler within Davinci Resolve. Free and studio versions, super handy effect which just allows you to automatically level or balance out your dialogue on the timeline. That video should be up within the next day or so. But while working on that, I discovered something new which I figured was worth talking about. Now, I don't believe this is a brand new feature in like Davinci Resolve 19 or anything. I do think it's been there for a while, but it's new to me and I get excited when I find new things. So that's why we're making a video about it. So, what have I discovered? Well, on the edit page, you can actually bounce your audio once you've added any of these effects on the edit page. Which basically means that if it's running a bit choppy, if you're trying to do some voice isolation or the dialogue leveler or whatever, and it's running a bit choppy and a bit performance issues, you can render it in place and actually generate a brand new audio file that has those effects baked in. It's a really handy feature. Don't know how I missed it. Let me open up Resolve and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And boom, here we are. So on this timeline here, I've got this long clip. It's like 11 minutes. And I want to just kind of do some of that dialogue leveling or whatever. So if I give this footage a click, in the inspector, audio, I've got things like voice isolation, dialogue leveler, music remixer. It works basically for any of these, but let's just do the dialogue leveler for now. If we toggle that on, we've got all of our settings here. There's this little icon, top right-hand corner, which if you give that a click, you get your pop out. Now again, that works for voice isolation, the leveler, and the remixer. Now, if I was to go and let's just say I set this to be more lift for low levels, bump up the gain or whatever, hit play, and we can play this through and it's automatically going to have kind of leveled out that dialogue. We're going into more detail about that in that other video, which when it's made will be linked at the end of this one. But if you're on a slower system, that can then be a little bit choppy because this has to work in real time. So as you're playing, it's trying to go and level out your dialogue. But if you click on these three little dots on the little pop-out window, there's an option to bounce audio effect. And when you click that, it's going to render this out. Now, this is quite a long clip, so it'll take a minute or, well, it won't take a minute. It'll take a few seconds. So let's come back when that's done. Boom, now it's done. Now you can see down here, it says the file name, and then it says _ bounced. And if we give that a click, the dialogue leveler isn't actually turned on, because that dialogue leveling has now been actually baked into this clip. Now what's cool with this, if we move this out of the way, you can see the original underneath, but it's been disabled. So you won't hear that original one, and you also won't be using any system resources. It won't be slowing things down. But we can just have this over the top. So now it's not doing anything in real time. It's all been baked into this. Now what's also cool, I can delete that. I can even delete this one off the timelines, because within the media pool, we have that clip. So it's got the new file name, it says bounced, and it's in there. So we can actually just grab it whenever we want, put it on there, and it's our already leveled audio from that clip. Now here's an example which just kind of goes to show you exactly what it's doing in a little bit more detail. So I've got this audio track here, a bit of a song. I don't want to waste no time. I don't want to waste no time. And once again, we give it a click. In the inspector, this time, let's do the music remixer. I'm going to mute the voices. So now if we hit play, the voices have gone, which is still astonishing. Still don't get how that works, but anyway. So if we look at the waveform here, this first bit is all vocals, this very first bit. So we can see that now, even though we can't actually hear it. So again, let's just open this music remixer up, click on the little icon, all of our remixer controls, click the three little dots, bounce the audio effect. It's going to run through that song. Now we've got this new waveform. And as you can see, the beginning bit doesn't have any audio because the vocals have been muted. So if we compare them, we can actually drag this down now. That's the original waveform. This is the new waveform with a music remixer baked in. It's pretty cool. Now, a couple of things. If we right-click on that bounced audio within the media pool, we can open the file location, and as you can see, it's put it in the cache. So it does actually generate a real copy of that file. So I've got this one here, bounced. You can see I've experimented with this previously. It's just a WAV file, but you can change the location if you want to. Open up your project settings, come over to the capture and playback. In capture, there's a save clips to, and you can see cache capture. So wherever you set that location, that will be where any of these bounced clips are sent. Now, just one thing to bear in mind, which is a bit of a shame, but I can understand it. You can't do this if you're doing track level audio effects. So on this audio 1, if I had the dialogue leveler turned on for the entire track, open the pop-out window, click my 3 little dots, there isn't an option there to bounce the audio effect. You can only do it for individual audio clips on the timeline itself. If you jumped into Fairlight, you could do it because there are ways to do that, but we'll worry about that another time. So there you go, pretty neat I thought. Now obviously you need to make sure the effect is correct before you bounce this out, because once bounced it is hard baked in, so then you can't make any changes. But you always of course can just revert back to the original one, because that one is completely untouched. And yes, this will work if you apply multiple audio effects. So if you've got a clip and you've put voice isolation on there and then ran the dialogue leveler and then bounced out the dialogue leveler, because it will do them kind of in order, it will do both at the same time, it will come out with both the voice isolation and the dialogue leveler both baked in to the bounced clip, which again, super useful if you have issues with performance. Not that, performance in Resolve, that's what I meant. So there you go, I thought that was pretty cool. I figured it was worth coming on and just kind of giving you a quick demo to show you something cool and new that I found. Now, I'm actually going to turn that down. I'm actually going to shoot out now because I need to record a bit of a vlog. I want more audio samples for my dialogue leveler video. So, if you've got any ideas for a little vlog for me to put on the other channel, let me know down in the comments. I might as well try and make an actual vlog while also getting some samples for this video. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.